you asked for it. Control or be controlled. The major theme of George Washington's farewell address was the role of government in taking revenge, so you, and sadly, everyone else, is not taking revenge on each other as you and they please. Your welfare urges me to offer the result of much reflection which appeared to me all important. From different quarters many artifices will be employed to weaken your minds, covertly and insidiously directed. The brilliance of this final advice to the American people is that it understands that your liberty to find a happy life depends on government's ability not to be a tool that others use to unfairly take revenge on you. Government must have its powers distributed so that the all-powerful government right to revenge is not turned on you. If you don't believe me, read all of Washington's own words carefully prepared by him for you. George Washington's case for convicting Donald Trump. Truth to Power. Medium.com. Control or be controlled. George Washington explicitly pointed out in the first words of his address that the soft underbelly of government are the lies and deceit that, if not voluntarily controlled by the democratic public, can still be employed by vengeful factions to gain control of the government at the expense of your liberty. Nothing much has changed about revenge needing to be controlled in order to secure your personal liberty some quarter of a millennium ago, except for one thing. Now, every single one of us has some new tools to get revenge, and sure enough, we use them. But the basic, uniquely human tools that destroys or restores our personal liberty is always the same. It is our natural language, any natural human language. In George Washington's age, the power of natural language to secure liberty by the powerful at the expense of the liberty of others had been magnified in the quarter of a millennium before his great address. With the advent of the printing press, 500 years ago, governments and organizations who controlled the presses could and did use lying and deceit to empower their own revenge. Better government was required, and that was democracy. Before the printing press, it was autocratic government that could lie to the people to manage revenge for good or evil without the opportunity for the voice of the people. As George Washington wrote, the domination of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge, natural to party dissension, which in different ages and countries has perpetrated the most horrid enormities, is itself a frightful despotism. This leads to a more formal and permanent despotism. The disorders and miseries which result gradually incline the minds of men to seek security and repose in the absolute power of an individual. Sooner or later, the chief of some prevailing faction, more able or more fortunate than his competitors, turns this disposition to the purposes of his own elevation, on the ruins of public liberty. But Washington warned us of the soft underbelly of democracy failing. Patriots of liberty must affirmatively submit to the laws and norms of properly constituted democratic government. The global internet has, like the printing press, exacerbated the problem of managing fair, just, and effective government revenge while preserving liberty. This is because the basic computation of the human brain, yours and everyone else's, is the unending source of desiring to effect personal revenge on others. We must, ourselves, individually be aware of and control our own skills at deceit and lies. The most effective kinds of deceit and lies in seeding anarchy and loss of liberty, as humankind has known since the beginning of government many millennia ago, are deceit and lies by fiat. There is a simple, easy to understand, and obvious proof of this from Medasiology, the science of lies. Fiat lies are genocide on the human race. The internet court of lies, medium.com. Without the opportunity for individual human dialogue in uniquely human natural language to seek and effect justice, fiat lies will, as they have done throughout history, enable our own loss of liberty to the point of anarchy, war, and genocide. The fundamental fix to all of this are somatic defenses against the scheming somatic attacks by others. Inoculate yourself with a somatic defense. What's that? Medium.com. Even with perfect governance, every individual must still know how to defend himself against the revengeful attempts of others to take control of his liberty. Every individual must constrain himself from seeking his own revenge more rightly democratically embodied in proper government and commerce. But why do fiat lies work and work so destructively well in today's media? How can humans be so easily misled to their own anarchistic destruction? From Mendesiology, we know the answers and the fix. Just ask. Start with just two people. You can be either person, but you need to take both the role of the liar and the lies separately to see how to take control of the other person's beliefs in truth and justice, and thereby take revenge on him. The mechanism is a universal among humans and is always there when one, the liar, is seeking revenge over the other, the lie. Every scheming somatic attack has its success or failure based in this mechanism. The Lee always asks this of the possible liar and believes the liar on this basis. The ask methodology is not new at all. That said, not a lot of people have heard of it or appreciate it both for the good it can do in good hands and the evil it can do in bad hands. It is just too easy to understand and explain to have useful commercial success. We will see the good in asking after seeing the bad. Ask stands for affiliation, status, and knowledge. In order for the Lee to believe the liar, he must computationally know and trust the liar's affiliation, status in that group of people, and knowledge about what he claims to know. If it all fits for the Lee, he will believe the knowledge he is being provided by the liar. So if you want to take revenge on someone, you are almost certainly going to have to lie or tell the truth about your affiliation, status, and knowledge. That is about it. You can now assert vengeful control over anybody if you can get them to believe your affiliation, status, and knowledge. Most important to understanding the damage done by modern media is that there is a conditional relationship between the elements of ask. If the Lee disbelieves the affiliation, he will dispense with belief in status or knowledge offered no matter how logical or reasonable. If all politicians lie all the time, then it does not matter their status as a politician, and certainly the knowledge they may be trying to impart can be ignored completely. Similarly, if the Lee believes in the affiliation but fails to believe in the liar's status as, say, a knowledgeable expert, he will dispense with belief in the knowledge offered, no matter how logical or reasonable. You see, this is modern journalism in the media, where a journalist, wanting to get some knowledge across, whether truth or lie, gets a third-party expert to explain the knowledge as truth. Then, the journalist himself seems to pass the ask test, even though it is not him actually passing the test. But the Lee should probably ask if the journalist is actually a journalist with some kind of credible status as such, before believing what the expert has to offer, even if that expert has a credible affiliation and status. For the Lee to protect himself against somatic attacks, he should always ask himself about the suspected liar, as well as his suspected lies. Now to the good side of ask. It is in management in a proper organization. If you want to be a good and effective manager, you really need to pay attention to making sure the employee knows you are an employee too, and that you have the proper status to convey the knowledge you are conveying to him. Otherwise, he might just not believe you, and thereby not do what the organization needs him to do to preserve the integrity of the organization in making ask claims to others. Ask chains are everywhere. They are the roads to success and chaos, and a major tool in critical thinking and its failure among people. If you want to lead someone out of a cult, or lead them to your point of view, you must understand what you need to ask. And further to George Washington's advice in his farewell address, we see this in good and bad religion as well. Here also lays the reason that comments or replies to blogs or articles in social and other internet media are the source of evil, and only rarely healthy or useful dialogue. Fiat lies can only be effectively controlled by enforced structured dialogue among people answering content-specific questions. Simply letting everyone spin up a somatic attack without critical dialogue is always unacceptable and dangerous. The new tools like community notes in X Twitter, for example, cannot work as long as X Inc. is the owner of the tool, because X itself fails the affiliation test at the top of the ask chain, providing the gateway to status and credible knowledge even being asked. We further see this in temporary affiliations with others working through problems where status is equalized among a small group affiliation by each member providing his insights into the truths and lies in the proposed knowledge being evaluated, such as 3 types of trial in the Internet Court of Truth and Lies. The Internet Court of Truth and Lies lets you see what other people think about truths or lies that you find in the medium.com. How do you inoculate yourself from somatic attacks? Just ask critically and sample further knowledge from other affiliations you may trust. The human brain is capable of endless deceit as well as securing the truth. Just ask. 100 billion sources of hate between your ears. Or the fundamental symmetry of brain computation. Medium.com. The conditional attention sequence in ask should be testable by online social media experiments testing recall memory for each part.